Not gonna lie, thanks to family problems, I couldn't upload as many videos that I wanted to upload. So today you get a small video before you get the recap video. Okay, let's begin. Since I already covered Madoka's original wish, I wanted to explore every known wish she made to become a magical lad across various timelines, at least the ones I'm aware of. If I missed any, please do tell me, but do this in a rather respectful way, and I will make a second part of this video where I will mention all the wishes that I missed. I'm also intentionally leaving out non-canon wishes from parody spin-offs like the anthology comics or the comedic series like the Homura spin-off manga. It also is worth mentioning that with the release of Scene Zero, the canonic status of many spin-offs series has become a bit murky. So if it turns into a Star Wars-like canon versus legend situation, blame the authors and not me. To keep things as accurate as possible, I'll begin with the canonical wishes seen in Scene Zero, which serves as a proper prequel to Madoka Magica, much like Yu-Gi-Oh! Season 0 did to the original Duel Monster anime. So let's begin with Madoka's first wish in Scene 0, saving Amy after she was hit by a truck. This event occurred across multiple timelines, specifically in Film 0 throughout Film 3, formerly referred to as Timelines 1 to 4. Eventually, Mabuya and Homura managed to prevent this incident and spared Madoka from needing to make a wish to save Amy. However, in a later timeline, this being Film 4 and the 5th timeline, Homura informs Madoka how witches are born, and Madoka became so overwhelmed upon learning the truth about magical girls turning into witches that she uses her wish to purify Charlotte, you know, the witch that ate Mami Set, and turning her back into a magical girl. This results into Nagisa returning to her magical girl form, but struggling deeply with her past action as a witch, especially having killed and eaten Mami's head when she was a witch, and then killing Kyoko when she turned back into a magical lad. The trauma leaves her extremely depressed and suicidal, and she almost turned into a witch once again. It has to be noted that during that time, Homura, Mabuya, and Madoka took on a kind of shared parent role towards Nagisa, which proves emotionally taxing for Madoka, since she started feeling extremely guilty and started seeing her wish as selfish rather than selfless, since she saw how much Nagisa suffered with her newly found conscience once again and the memories of being a witch. So it's no wonder that in Film 5, Homura and Mabuya decided not to tell Madoka how witches are born to spare her from this emotional fate, and therefore focused on Sayaka, who ends up emotionally devastated and trapped in a time chamber after being betrayed by Mabuya, which resulted into her attacking Mabuya, which of course Homura jumped in between to protect Mabuya. Madoka in the meanwhile made with Kyubei a contract and wished to fight alongside Sayaka and free her from her suffering and her eternal pain and depression, which results into Madoka becoming a magical lad. In Film 6, Sayaka's soul gem got lost, which basically killed Sayaka on the spot. Seeing Sayaka's lifeless body, Madoka makes a contract with Kyubei to retrieve Sayaka's soul gem, therefore saving her, but also turning herself into a magical lad. At this point, both Homura and Mabuya realize they must prevent Sayaka from ever making a contract again. So they did exactly that, until in Film 9, Madoka makes a contract once again to stop Walpurgis Nacht, but due to her massive karmic powers, she becomes a witch after a single shot and ends up destroying the planet within 10 days. But hey, at least she beat Walpurgis Nacht. A similar fate befalls her in Film 11, with her witch form becoming even more powerful, which of course results into Homura and Mabuya to abandon the timeline once again, but not before Kyubei tells Mabuya that she gradually becomes Madoka's replacement as the most important person in Homura's life. This becomes significant in Film 12, where Mabuya regains all her memories and sees the future. This future being her transformation into a witch and Homura's desperate attempt into saving her over and over again until she eventually dies trying to save her. And since her predictions are always 100% accurate, she knows she can change this fate. But in a twist of fate, the hero of the timeline comes to save the day, this being ironically Kyubei, who told Madoka everything he knows. This being his suspicions that Mabuya and Homura are time travelers and tried everything in their power to save Madoka, which of course resulted into Madoka wishing for Mabuya to be free from her depression and despair, which results into her being saved by Madoka, and Madoka becoming a magical lad once again. The rest is extremely spoiler heavy, so I stop there and simply say watch Scene 0. The only other thing and only other wish that did happen in Film 13 is heavily implied that Madoka wished to save all magical girls and prevent them from becoming witches, basically turning herself into a goddess and turning herself into a concept. Now, onto the Madoka wishes from the spin-off series. In the phenomenal spin-off series The Different Story, which is I personally believe surpassed the main anime, Madoka makes a wish to revive Sayaka after she dies as a witch at the hands of Mami Tomoe. It also has to be noted that she also made this this wish because she wanted to free Mami from her fate as a magical lad. But because Mami Toei lost all her purpose in life and also was in her eyes too weak to stop Madoka from making this wish, she ends up taking her own life shortly after Madoka made her wish. In Homura's revenge, Madoka wishes to save Homura from death and in the end joins forces with her and Kyoko to defeat Walpurgis Nacht. Even so, Homura ends up abandoning the timeline, devastated that she couldn't save Madoka from becoming a magical lad. And in the PlayStation Portable version, in the Madoka route, Madoka made a wish to make Sayaka a normal human again. Like I mentioned at the beginning of the video, there exist many more wishes that Madoka made throughout the entire series, like in the anthology manga series and in the Homura spin-off series, where she travels into bizarre timelines. And at first I thought that these weren't canon, but apparently they are, so I will going to cover all these stories in their own little videos. If you want more content, please watch my Scene Zero video. But for now, I wish you all a really good day. Goodbye.